Hello there. Welcome to another Thespian Reviews. I said thespian, not lesbian. They're doing. That's another matter entirely. What movie am I reviewing now? Right now I'm reviewing the biggest animated blockbuster to come about in 2013. What movie is this, you might ask? I'm talking about none other than Disney's Frozen. Now, a bunch of you might get angry about my review because I'm not going to say that it's the best movie ever or that, I could watch it a bajillion times and not get tired because, let's face it, there aren't any movies like that. But what I will do is I'll give it to you straight, I'll give it to you honestly, and that's what I'm going to do. So, what is Frozen about? Well, basically what it's about is, spoilers ahead, these two twins, Anna and Elsa. Elsa, when she's like a little girl, like 5 or so, finds out that she is cryokinetic. Now, for those of you that don't spend time on that type, learning about that type of stuff, cryokinesis is the ability to control ice. Just like pyrokinesis is the ability to control fire, telekinesis is the ability to control physical objects with your mind. It's pretty damn cool. That's what it is. And we walk in and we see Elsa and Anna, they basically turn the ballroom into their own little winter wonderland, which I think is pretty damn awesome. Because, let's face it, if you're a little kid, and your sister did that, well, first of all, I'd be a lot nicer to my sister because she could freeze me solid into a block of ice. But second of all, I would try to exploit that in every possible way. And so anyhow, long story in short, Elsa needs to recharge her powers for a little bit, while Anna is running up these blocks of snow that Elsa created just right in the middle of the room, and she jumps and Elsa, lets loose a blast device at her and knocks her on the head. Now this is important because instead of Anna, walking over with a bruise on her head and be like, damn, what hit me? Her head is instead frozen. Yeah, kind of sucks. So they have to go to this little pack of trolls that can disguise themselves as rocks, which is pretty cool that they don't live under a bridge and eat people. But, so anyhow, to remedy the situation, the eldest troll, Grandpappy, has to remove Anna's memories of Elsa ever having this cryokinetic power, as her parents tell her, listen, if the world knows about this, people are going to freak. So basically, keep it hidden best you can. Okay? Okay. Instead of, oh, I don't know. Because I'm sure that this is not the first case of this ever happening. So, what the hell? So, why don't they instead, I don't know, talk to someone that might have some experience in this? This is one of the issues I have with the movie, because instead of teaching Elsa to actually control her powers, kind of like the X-Men or Hogwarts does, no, we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to lock her in her room and make it so that way she is terrified of hurting herself, of hurting the people that she loves, instead of, I don't know, giving her helping her get enough control of her powers so that way she doesn't have to worry about that. That's my biggest complaint, is the sheer illogical way that this happens. Because it's revealed about, I don't know, half an hour in or so, that Elsa is next in line for the throne. Now then, you would think, because granted, it's basically queen of the country of Arendelle, which, it's not that big, but, you gotta start somewhere. And, anyhow, Elsa is never taught how to actually run things. Her parents die. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're going with that cliche now, yeah. We're going with the cliche that the loving parents always die. Seriously, Disney, what the hell is it with you? But enough of me rambling about the thousands of cliches Disney uses. Instead, let's focus on the main story itself. How does it fare up? Pretty good. It's actually much more creative than a lot of other movies I have seen. Which, let's face it, by now are basically mostly sequels, reboots, and hey, Michael Bay! Let's Michael Bay it! But yeah. So that's my view of the story. It's very creative, it's very thought out, but it's not very climactic. I mean, come on, the ending just sort of resolves itself. It's like, there isn't some big thingy, I mean, granted, it was cool when, Elsa had to kill, like, these couple of assassins that this Duke sent after her because he was convinced, oh no, she's a monster, she'll try to kill us all. And he kind of reminds me of Bill O'Reilly in a way. Maybe it's just me. But, either way, the story fares up fairly good. I give it an 8 out. I give the story a 9 out of 10. But the story is not by any means the... Hold on a second. We good? Yeah, we good. Alright, so the biggest thing about Frozen is the songs. And I have to say, I love the songs in Frozen. I mean, seriously. They're just great. Like, Let It Go is obviously the one that I'm probably going to talk the most about, because it is just so epic. Like, the scale that it's, on, and it actually carries the scale that it's trying to accomplish. which that I especially love because I don't like it when, directors or songwriters try to make it this small little thing when it's like, come on, you can make this so much better. And, so much, like, bigger and stuff. But, anyhow, the songs, especially at the beginning, always have this sort of whimsical feel to it. Kind of like Imagination in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Not Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Not that movie with Johnny Depp. The one with Gene Wilder. The original. The classic. The good one. But what do I have? I mean, yeah, there's like one song in there that it's not really needed, but it's still good, so I'll let it pass. And the climax, I know that I said that I don't think the movie is very climactic at the end. Like, when I saw this movie, I was thinking, alright, here's the big climactic battle between the bigoted, egotistical jackasses and Elsa and her supporters, as well as, Olaf, because, let's face it, it's Olaf. Olaf is awesome. He actually reminds me of one of the guys that he doesn't go to a school, but he hangs out around the theater department a lot, especially when we're getting close to showtime. He kind of reminds me of him. Maybe it's just his voice, but he does. Which brings us to our next category. So, songs, 9 out of 10. Which brings us to our next category. Characters. Now then, this is the first Disney movie where they actually address the fact that, love at first sight, yeah, more than likely it's a scam. Like it was with Anna and Hans. Who, by the way, Hans. I just had to do that. Also, the way that they deal with him at the end is so great. But yeah, the characters are really, really good. Like, I have to say, I know that Anna is supposed to be the main hero of the story, but really, Elsa is the best of the two sister characters because, she's dealing with all of this turmoil and stuff inside of her and trying to keep control of her cryokinetic powers. Again, cryokinetic, the power to control ice, which is pretty awesome! Yes, I'm fanboying over a superpower. Deal with it. No, I do not do it for Iceman because Iceman is A, stupid, B, he's Iceman. What are you gonna do? But, yeah. So, anyhow, the characters are really well-rounded. Even... what is it? I completely forgot, like, the male lead's character. But really, the female characters just carry the movie so well. Especially, like, how, in the beginning, Elsa's like, wait. You two just met this afternoon, and now you're gonna want to get married? You can't marry someone you just met. Which, thank you, Disney, for finally pointing that out. Granted, it kind of makes you hypocrites because that's what you've been saying. Because, you've been saying that love at first sight is actually a thing after, 50 years, is it? 50? Pretty sure. Pretty sure it's 50. But, anywho, the male character that I really like, again, is Olaf. Olaf the little snowman, who, for some reason, absolutely loves summer, which I think is pretty damn awesome. Because he's like, oh, summer? This is a thing? Awesome. But yeah. So anyhow, that's characters. And for the female lead characters, I just have to give them a 9 out of 10. The male characters, I gotta give a 7 out of 10. Because, while I do respect that the villain is that the lines between villain and hero are blurred in this, which is very refreshing, especially the fact that they essentially made Hans the villain, which I really like. But yeah, so the male characters get a 7 out of 10 because the main villain and the goofy sidekick are the most memorable characters. The male lead isn't particularly memorable. I mean, yeah, there's his reindeer Sven, he's pretty awesome. But yeah, so that brings me to the design of the whole thing. How well is it animated? What are the environments like? Honestly, it actually looks like a place that could exist. Like one of those fairy tale, those fairy tale places, like, I don't know, Far, Far Away in Shrek 2, which I still maintain, best Shrek movie of all time. Best Shrek movie in the series. I know a few people would agree with me. But as for the design of it, I especially like Elsa's castle that she builds during the whole "Let It Go" thingy-mabob. That whole musical number, that's fantastic. And so I give the set design a 9 out of 10. Just because it's so damn cool. But that brings me to the couple of little gripes that I have about the movie. First of all, the male lead isn't particularly memorable. It's like, yeah, he's the humble commoner who, saves the girl, but they don't realize that they belong together until Hans reveals all of his douchiness. Yeah. Not particularly memorable. Also, the parents' logic in this, because, I mean, come on, couldn't they have, I don't know, take her to the trolls and ask them, hey, do you know anyone that can help us, teach her to control this thing? 'Cause that'd be cool. That'd be really cool. But yeah. Couple of little gripes, but overall, it's just a fantastic movie. The voice acting is very emotionally driven, which I really like because, you know, some people say voice acting isn't actually acting. It's like, no, but it is, because you're essentially reading a couple lines of dialogue, but other than that, that is all the control you have. So you have to take that little tiny bit of control and, just dominate it. That's what you need to do. Yeah. What's my rating for the movie? 8.9 out of 10. I'm not giving it a 10 out of 10 because, male lead isn't memorable. I mean, yeah, he's funny, but he's not memorable by any means. I mean, heck, I can't even remember his name, and I saw the movie last night. Also, the parents' logic, which, I mean, I can understand why they'd want to keep it hidden partially because, if word gets out, then, the townspeople are gonna be like, off with her head! That was the worst Scottish accent ever, and the movie isn't even in Scotland, it's like in, I don't know, Alaska, or Norway, one of those two places. Hell, maybe it's in Russia. That'd be... Nah, not the right accent. We don't really get a sense of where Arendelle is, but all we know is that it's up north. Why is it up north? Because it's cold. So, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 because 3 reasons. 1, male lead isn't memorable. 2, it's not particularly... The climax is not that climactic. 3, the parents' logic. That's what I have to say. And subscribe and leave all hate mail in the comments, please. Also, like this video and share it with your friends. I should edit that part out.